Hello, how you guys doing? Happy Monday. Welcome to another SLG Meetups by Super Luxury Group, where we connect with some of the most interesting players in the luxury space. And my name is Alvaro, and today we have a very interesting guest. His name is Charris, and when I talk about Charris, I always think of machinery inventions, and he's the head of communications at MB&F, Maximilian Busser and Friends. And it's not just a regular company that does luxury watches. They do 3D kinetic sculptures that give time. So in this modern era, this is really revolutionizing the industry. So it's going to be very interesting to hear what he has to say about the concepts that they're bringing along with the co-creations and how they're marketing it to the world.
Charris, how are you?
Hey Alvaro, how are you?
Very good, and yourself?
I'm okay, man. Working from home.
Working from home, right. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
And I was making a quick introduction about yourself, head of communication for MB&F. What a magnificent, of a company. You've been 10 years already, doing an excellent job, and what you are doing is fantastic. I'm very impressed with the type of work that you guys are putting day and night, and it reflects by the results. I think that a lot of people that follow your brand and your own customers are, inspired by everything that you do. Tell us a little bit about how did you end up in this industry and becoming so successful in this brand?
I've always been a marketing guy, but I started like many marketing people in the fast-moving consumer goods industry, selling, household cleaners and stuff like that. And at one point, because I've always been interested in watches, from a very young age, from 10, 12 years old, I'm part Swiss, so I guess that's in
the blood.
Yeah, at one point, there was an opportunity to go and work with a relatively famous watch brand, Piaget, part of Richemont Group at the time, still today, of course. So I joined there, then went back to other things, spent most of my professional life in the agency business, advertising agency business. But then, the watchmaking call was too strong. And at one point, I'd kind of become friends with Max, the head of the company. We were chatting about another opportunity, and he suggested as a bit of a joke to join MB&F. And, there was a moment of silence. The forks dropped. We were at lunch. And I looked at him and I told him, Max, if you're serious, I will consider this very seriously. And a week later, we signed the contract.
Amazing. And since then, it's been 10 years already. So what a journey has been. I'm very fascinated with the type of products that you guys are creating because, for somebody that looks into your product, I mean, you cannot say they are watches, that's why I love that you market them as 3D kinetic sculptures that give time, because it goes beyond that. So let me ask you a little bit because you are head of communication. So obviously there needs to be a story behind this product and what's the meaning behind it?
Well, the name is MB&F, means Maximilian Busser, Max, as everyone calls him, and Friends. And to understand that, you need to understand that the story of Max is pretty amazing. I mean, he was 15 years ago one of the rising stars of the watchmaking industry. If you asked anyone at the time, who are the 5 or 6 upcoming CEOs who really are doing something special, he was part of that list. And then something really weird happened. And I didn't know him personally at the time. He quit his job. I mean, people could not understand what the hell. Why would Max, who had everything, success, power, he rejuvenated the brand. He was head of Harry Winston at the time, Harry Winston timepieces. Obviously a very good salary, big bonuses and so on. Why would he quit that job? People thought he had gone crazy. People thought maybe he was burned out. People thought the wildest rumors, had something gone wrong, had he done something wrong. But no, he quit because he realized that he had to start his dream company, his own thing. And so he took all that. It's like poker, you put everything you have on the table and you do that one bet. He put everything he had, his lifetime savings and everything, and said, I'm starting my company on my own. So he went from 100 people at the time at Harry Winston, to one himself. As I said, put all his savings into the company And for about 2 years, basically disappeared, because that's the time he needed to, start his own, his first watch, his first machine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have a lot of respect for the guy for that. The balls, sorry, to do that.
Oh my God, it takes a lot of guts, and it's about that vision, and I'm very excited about, getting to know more about the story, because I mean, you obviously are communicated so well through what you are doing in marketing and the product itself. Like, it's part of like your inner child that comes out every time that you see this product. So I just want to put some of the images here, because you kind of have it divided into categories, right? Like the machines, as you call them, for everything. So exactly. Horological machines, the HMs. Let me start with the first one, because they're impressive. I mean, this one right here. Look at this. So what is the story behind this? This is the HM9, right?
Correct. Yes. And you're right to start with those, because that's really the horological machines, as we call them. The HMs are what have defined MB&F. And they're the first machines we made, really. Even though that's a relatively recent one, this whole collection of horological machines is what defined us. And they go back to, as you said, our inner child. That's really why Mike started this company, was to say, you know what, okay, I'm successful in the watchmaking business. I'm the CEO of Harry Winston or whatever. Before that, he was at JLC, Yadigaroglou. He made a lot of watches, very successful watches, but as he says, watches for other people, not for himself. So he knew how to market watches, how to sell watches, how to make watches that would, appeal to a wide audience, but not because he was particularly proud of himself. And that's why he started MB&F. He said, I want to make watches that I find are cool. Hopefully a few people out there will do
the same.
Trouble. Right. But that's the reason. And that's why you see these incredible unconventional watches. That's the HM10 Bulldog.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
To give you an idea of how far these things go, that Bulldog you have on the screen.
How much are they?
Average retail is about 100,000 US.
Okay.
To give you an idea, the range starts at about half of that, so around 50 or 60,000 US, and it'll go up to the several hundred thousands. I think the most expensive piece we ever created was 500,000, 500,000.
Tell us a little bit more about this product, because it's fascinating.
Well, it's a funny story, because most brands would have started with the more classic pieces and then moved on to crazier stuff. We did exactly the opposite.
The opposite.
We did a lot of that at MB&F. We often do the opposite of what the mainstream would do. But yeah, the legacy machines, including the one you have on the screen here, which is the women's watch, they were really created because in the end, what we really love, even though we make these crazy watches, is the mechanical watchmaking inside. That's our raw material, if you like. The painter uses paint. Well, we use mechanical watchmaking to express our art. And we love mechanical watchmaking, which is a very traditional art. It has no reason for being today, in a way. Why would you buy a mechanical watch when your iPhone or whatever phone gives you a much better time, more accurate, more precisely, and so on and so on? That's the LM Perpetual Evo, launched a couple of weeks ago. It was a more direct way of saying, look how mechanical watchmaking is beautiful. That was the idea of the legacy machines.
What would you consider your primary niche market? Because obviously the price point is high.
The price point is obviously very high. And by the way, the price point is high not because we want it that way, but simply because when you make these crazy machines and, you look at the level of finishing and so on that we put into them, the price is a direct consequence of that. Also the fact that we're not making very many. We make in total, all models combined, just above 200 timepieces per year.
So what is this? Explain this to me, because I look at it and I just get excited, but I need to really get the feeling of it.
This is Medusa, so it's designed a bit like a jellyfish. It's actually a table or desk clock, so it's about 1 foot high. You can also hang it from the ceiling, believe it or not, if you want to. So it's really floating like a jellyfish. And it's an extension of what we do. So when that, what we're interested in is mechanics and making these little mechanical sculptures for your wrist. Well, one day we stumbled upon other manufacturers that were making other mechanical objects, whether they're table clocks or music boxes, whatever. And we said, why don't we co-create something?
And, Charris, with these price points and the quality that you bring to these products, obviously a lot of people will consider these luxury machines. Yeah. Now, the term luxury, it's been changing over time, and this is something that I always ask with people that come to these SLG meetups, and I would like to ask you, Charris, like, what is really luxury to you?
You know, it's a totally flexible concept. You're so right, Alvaro. I mean, I go to conferences or I give talks sometimes to various groups and so on, and even within a luxury-minded group, you realize there are very different segments.
So, Charris, with everything that is going on these days, you know, a lot of people think that it's a little bit crazy to invest or spend so much money into such machines, or, you know, like things are changing a little bit. So what will be your reaction when it comes to the current market trends, when it comes to your business?
I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's reality. I mean, we are surprised by how resilient our sales are in this apparently difficult context. It's you know, again, when you talk to this very niche market, these are people who obviously have lots of money, and if they really like what they see, they will buy it, whether it's villa, whether it's a yacht, whether it's a watch. And in fact, I think when context becomes uncertain, they will actually favor, in some cases, these very tangible goods.
Definitely. And Charris, let's say that somebody's looking to invest or buy their next watch, you know, and we're talking about kind of this niche market. What would be your recommendation to look for?
You know, I mean, a lot of collectors say this, and I agree 100%. Regardless of what I just said, watchmaking, collecting watches should remain a pleasure first and foremost. So if you're just looking for the good deal, meaning, you know, the watch that you will buy now and be able to resell in 6 months at a profit, you're not into it for your own pleasure. You're making a business out of it, which is another matter. That's fine. If that's your job, no problem. If you're collecting for yourself, collect what you find interesting and make your own collection.
That's incredible, and it's a really good saying. I think that this is what really wraps it up. You know, you need to look for something that makes also some valuable inner self, because it's not just about the money, it's about something that you can be passionate about, and a collection that really fits to your personal inner needs. It goes beyond. So thank you for sharing that, Charris. And you know, if somebody wants to reach out to you guys and find out more about your co-creations or your new products coming up, or they want to, you know more about it, where can they find you?
Well, I guess the easiest nowadays is digital, obviously. So a number of channels. Check out our website, which is MB&F.com. So MB&F.com. Social media. We're very active on social media, mainly Facebook and Instagram. Instagram actually, but we're out there on Facebook and Twitter and other channels as well. If you're in Geneva, or you know, in any city where we either have one of our mad galleries or a retailer, of course, you know, go and visit them. On our website, you'll find we have 26, 27, 28 locations around the world, including in the US, including in Florida. We're in Miami with West Time, and in Jupiter with Provident Jewelry, for example, but also in other locations in the US. So, you know, anywhere, whatever works for you, we'll be happy to.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Charris, for sharing all this information. It was an absolute pleasure having you today. And as always, you are invited to come to Miami when you get a little bit tired of the cold. And
look forward.
I'll do the same. You know, when I get tired of the warm water, I'll go see you.
Come skiing here, whenever you want.
Oh, I love it. Of course. All right, Charris. It was a pleasure. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. All right. That's Charris. What a guy. Very cool concept that they have built, and you know, the insights that he was sharing are absolutely very incredible when it comes to the way that you look into products nowadays. It's not so much about the return on investment, but also something that is valuable to you and meaningful along the line. So again, I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation, and as I always say, have a beautiful day and keep the beautiful success in life. See you next time. Bye-bye.